Gabriel Medina, a threat for the world title once again in 2019. Needs to get through this heat though. Italo Ferreira on the top side of the draw, setting the pace, getting past Kelly Slater in semi one. And now he will wait and see if Griffin Colapinto can cause a big upset here and help dish up a world title, a maiden world title.
Him having that inside, he'd rather have the inside and be in control, and that's what's created that little bit of tension in the lineup so far. Now they're on top of each other and the jockeying continues.
Well, Medina lining this one up. He's going to pull into the left, super deep, dropped into this one. And won't find his way through, but always walks that fine line. Griffin Colapinto, he got a little caught up in the lip. Don't know if he was really in a position there to get into that ride.
And he managed that onslaught from Gabriel and got the priority, so he's in a good position.
Medina under priority now, ducks under one. Punches through the curtain. He's all quads, this guy. Has the strength to stay on his feet through that section. You mentioned earlier on, a polarising athlete, and definitely sort of splits opinion.
Yeah.
Do you think he cares?
No, I think he's very focused on what he wants, and he's willing to do whatever it takes to get it. Here he is late, drops in, pulls into the tube. That whole section falls there, and at this point you think, well, and he forces his way through, just pushes through the back, the water angle to show better pumping and drive. You see those little pumps and drives to build speed and to get out of that one. The best backhand surfers in the world. It's hard to go past our two front runners in this year's world title race. Medina having a look at an inside one again, Ronnie.
Yeah, tucking in there, not a lot in that way, but wasn't really throwing open. Head-to-head history between these two, favouring Gabriel Medina.
Since then, he has been ruthless in the water, but maybe it was because of that moment that made him kind of take that turn.
A 3.67 earlier on, and now lining one up on the inside, a really high line through that first section, and finds his way through the second. The wave was somewhat tapering off, but he's just adding to that score at the moment. Griffin on the outside, set waves approaching. And he was by far the strongest competitor in the field there.
There's that high line you talked about, and then threads the second part. Thought about an air. You could see he was thinking about something else. We'll see it on this one. Drops in. You watch this pump to the high line, and then builds some speed down into that second little section. Threads it beautifully. A great tube rider. Tahiti pipeline. It's hard for anyone to touch this guy in these sorts of waves. There's the high line. Just pulls up into it, drops down to another little turn that picks the line through the second section, threads that beautifully. You can see the board looks really sensitive under his feet with those little movements of the ankles and the knees. The board responds immediately.
Point right in this contest earlier on. Griffin Colapinto took a beating.
Oh, that was an ugly, heavy one. He waited a long time for this one. You could see how it just cupped out and just, you saw the boil in the face and just threw over. And that was a never going to be, really. That one was never going to be makeable.
Could pop up at any time. This wave looks pretty decent. Medina well positioned, drops into it, hugs the wall of that wave, should find his way through. The wave spits, out he comes. And that will replace the 3.67 he had in his scoreline.
Look at this one. Drops in nice and deep. That section gives him some time. The wave spits. He's in and out pretty quick, but it was a beautiful set wave. He waited a while for it. His beautiful positioning. I'm sitting, that's exactly what I was talking about. That's the sort of wave that Griffin didn't want him to get. Does Griffin get one of his own here?
Gets the opportunity to answer. Finds his way through. That'll be his best ride. It'll be interesting to see how it stacks up against the wave Medina just had. But waiting on scores for both competitors as they get back to that takeoff zone.
And they're almost, yeah, like almost an arrogant little cut-off. Griffin pulls in the one behind, a little bit quicker, a little bit frothier and white water on the face, not quite as big, not quite as throaty. So I feel like the advantage has to go to Gabriel there. But that could better Gabriel's 5 and be a better score than that for Griffin, and that would be a good situation. Puts him in the heat, only looking for one score with 8 minutes to go. Looking for 2 scores at this point in time. Things might get a little difficult.
I'm almost going to ask you the exact same question. I mean, it literally has to be demanding. I mean, just sitting here, feeling the energy that's happening, you would have to say it's fatiguing. As I mean, there's no way that that's not going to have an effect going into this final. I feel like that mentally, the stress that's there, the physical demands of surfing pipeline at a day like today.
Oh, this is going to be an exceptional finish to the event. Obviously, this semi-final, it's in Gabriel's hands at the moment. He's taking off again, driving through this one. Not going to find his way through. You could see that section almost breathing, opening and closing there for a moment, Barton.
Perfect outcome for Griffin Colapinto. Gabriel Medina's just sitting there praying for the ocean to go flat. Griffin's moving, he's repositioning, he's deciding to go.
40 seconds to go, he's making his move, looking at back door, locked in, deep. Is he still rolling through this one? Oh, won't find the exit, there's his board. And Medina starting to celebrate on the outside, 30 seconds remaining. Gabriel Medina overcoming Griffin Colapinto to get a shot at a third world title.
What a show that is going to be, Ronnie. That is going to be an amazing final. Everything, the dream of these childhood heroes from Brazil is on the line. One of them's going to win.